Good evening, this is Shindo. I came across this article earlier, and as the good God-fearing Christian I am, I wanted to read their lies. The article is titled, "In Schools, on Streets, and TV, Children Feel Muslim Backlash." Well, the first thing I thought of, being such a wonderful Christian, was fuck 'em! Am I right, Christians? Look at the face of this terrorist! She deserves everything she gets. Fucking Muslims. Fuck 'em! Makes me so angry reading this propaganda. Lord knows we Christians are persecuted. Anyway, let me read the article. A backlash against American Muslims is leaving a mark on some of the nation's youngest minds. After seeing presidential candidate Donald Trump call on television for barring Muslims from entering the country, 8-year-old Sophia Yassini checked the locks on her family's home in Plano, Texas, imagining the army would take them away. She raced to her room and stuffed a pair of Barbie dolls, a tub of peanut butter, and a toothbrush into a bag. She probably put a fucking gun in there too, right, Christians? She insisted on bringing boots for the long boat ride she imagined was coming. When her mother, Melissa, arrived home from her work as a human resource manager, Sophia ran to her arms and cried, quote, "I want people to understand the impact that their words have on these children," unquote, said Melissa Yassini, who described the experience on Facebook posts that had been shared more than 21,000 times as of Monday. Quote, "We often forget we're waging war on one another with words, and we're adults. We can take it. The kids are suffering with this. They go to school every day, and they are afraid to tell people they're Muslim. This has to stop," unquote. Anti-Muslim sentiment was building in the days before 14 people were killed December 2nd in the massacre at the Disability Center in Southern California by a Muslim couple investigators say were inspired at least in part by the Islamic State group. Some governors have already said they wouldn't allow Syrian fleeing civil war into their states because of extremist fears. Experts say Trump's call December 7th to keep all Muslims from entering the United States, a plan he said would apply only to temporary and to non-citizens, only fanned the flames. Parents say that children hear disparaging remarks on their own communities, see hateful bumper stickers and T-shirts, and have had friends abandon them because of their faith. Ad Khan, 12, came home from school in rural Westminster, Maryland, in tears because his best friend called him a future terrorist who couldn't be trusted, according to Ahad father, Raza Khan. "Christians, you're creating terrorists!" Khan, the chairman of the science department of Carroll Community College, shared Ahad's experience in an open letter to Trump on Facebook. As of Monday, it had been shared more than 43,000 times. Quote, "He is the engine right now for that fear-mongering," unquote, Khan said in an interview. Quote, "I don't think he realizes that his words matter. He doesn't realize the damaging effect his words can have on people, especially kids." No, he realizes it, folks. He just doesn't give a shit. Just like all you Christians don't give a shit about anybody but yourselves. In the mind of children, many long imagination and short on political understanding, phrases like, quote, "total and complete shutdown of Muslims," unquote, can be traumatic, experts say. Really? Just on kids, huh? Quote, "Children expect that society will be nurturing and protective," unquote, says Mark D'Angelo, a child psychiatry professor in the University of California, Los Angeles. Quote, Statements implying detainment or exclusion for arbitrary reasons like race, ethnicity, or religion can create anxiety and trauma, unquote. Really? Some children have questioned their faith and place in American society. Kuf Mamba Kroma of Minneapolis said his 8-year-old daughter asked him, quote, "Why we are Muslims? Why can't we be what everybody else is?" His daughter encouraged him to cancel a trip to his native Liberia for fear he would be barred from returning. She may be right. Mendez Mohammed of Dallas said her 7-year-old son urged her to switch to a black and white hijab so she would look more like a nun after they were subjected to anti-Muslim remarks outside his school this week. Sam Mady of New Orleans watched coverage of Trump's remarks with his 11-year-old son. He said he feared anti-Muslim sentiment would set back progress of integrating Muslims into American society. Zayn Mady plays soccer and spends most weekends with his mother helping cities homeless. Quote, "We're not prepared for this," unquote, said Mady, whose father fled Iraq in the 1970s. Quote, "We're not prepared to sit and educate our children why they're not any different from anybody else. I don't think any parent is prepared for that. I don't care what religion you believe in or don't believe," unquote. Parents needn't shoulder the burden themselves, says Patricia Greenfield, a psychology professor at UCLA. Teachers should talk about not generalizing Muslims and ask children to reinforce their friendships with Muslim students, she said in an email. As Khan, the father in Maryland, tucked his son in last week, he left him with the words he recited when he became a U.S. citizen 2 decades ago. Quote, "One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all," unquote. Quote, "I don't know why. I don't know how people forget that," unquote, Khan said later, fighting back tears. Quote, "We have to, otherwise we're dividing ourselves," unquote. Sisek reported from Philadelphia. Okay. Well, let's get this straight. Let's get this perfectly straight. Okay. Not everybody is against Muslims. Most of the people, 90% of the people who are against Muslims in general, are Christians. And what you're doing, Christians, is creating an entire new generation of terrorists. People that don't have any problem with you right now, but will. And even despite the fact that I keep telling you to cut it out and to stop it, you're not going to. The fact that I pointed out to you makes you hate me. You hypocritical, sorry sacks of shit. Your judgment is coming. It's here. And your God is not going to spare you from it. You have sat in your big homes with all your money, and you have become placated with it. You believe that you are untouchable. Let me tell you something. You're not. And let me tell you something else. You're not ready for this. You are getting into a fight you cannot win. These people, the Muslims, who are against you, against the West, and against the Western culture that is based on your Christian quote-unquote morality, they will not hesitate to kill you. They have been raised literally hungry. How many of you know hunger? How many of you are truly willing to die for what you believe in? You say you are, while you sit in your big house with your nice, comfortable furniture, your big TV, your big screen computer, your laptop, your tablets, your phone. These are people who have nothing. And what do we offer? What kind of counterattack does this lame-ass country offer against these people? Ooh, Anonymous is going to go after them. Ooh. This right here. This picture right here. This is the picture of what you're creating. This child who will grow up to hate you. And why will this child grow up to hate you? Because you're pieces of shit. You deserve everything that is coming to you. This is Shindo. Have a nice Monday evening.